Hey y'all, it's Bree. Welcome to what I am calling a trans woman's survival guide. In this series, I hope to provide some of the things I've learned over the years in the hopes of helping younger trans folks navigate the fascist hellscape we find ourselves in today. Uh, Understand, though, that I am by no means an expert, and what I provide here should not be taken as definitive answers, but as helpful information that, alongside other sources, may be useful. So, in my introduction video, I gave a bit of my background and how I came to be here. Today, I want to explain a bit more of why I'm doing this now, and not, say, years ago when I could have fought to prevent what is happening now. Perhaps you've heard of the idea of the model minority. The model minority is a concept that was pushed to praise Asian Americans as a model for other minorities in America, mostly the black Americans during the Civil Rights Movement. If you have any understanding of the history of the Civil Rights Movement in America, you already know what's fucked up about this. Put bluntly, the model minority myth was meant to damn black Americans for not being quiet and accepting their oppression while at the same time also ignoring the challenges faced by Asian Americans. It homogenized an entire group of people into a caricature of humanity. It also is based around an extremely narrow view of what can be called success and casts aside the harms done by the forced internment of Japanese Americans. While this has been largely discredited, the base idea behind the myth persists and pervades American society today. The assumption that a marginalized group gains from staying quiet and never making a fuss is still pushed all the time. Even now, there is an effort to drive a wedge between the gay, lesbian, and bisexual portion of the LGBTQ plus movement and the trans and queer portion based on the exact same kind of argument. That gay, lesbian, and bisexual people gained their rights quietly and peacefully, and if we, the trans and queer, would just shut up, we would get our rights eventually too. So, why am I telling you all this? It's a part of the story of how I got here. I want to be clear that I never bought into the model minority myth. I don't think I could have, given I was fucking there to see how hard we fought for marriage equality. But I was afraid. I had seen what happens to trans people who draw too much attention to themselves. If they're lucky and have a solid support network, they can get a message out that helps people learn and grow by understanding us better. If they're not so lucky, their lives are destroyed and they are publicly dragged through the mud. They wind up stalked and harassed and made to feel unsafe in their own homes. And I was not just afraid for my own safety. I was afraid for the safety of my family. I had young children in my family that, if I got targeted, might find themselves becoming targets themselves. There was an incident some years ago where I challenged a rabid transphobe who also happened to be a lawyer on Twitter. And their response was to post a link to my Facebook account, which was not at all connected to my Twitter account. This was terrifying, as my Facebook account has lots of personal information about me on it, including my real name and location. I immediately shut up. I was terrified that if this person, who, again, happened to be an actual lawyer who goes around harassing trans people on the internet, decides to come after me, I could have thousands of people harassing me, and I can't guarantee they wouldn't find my house, or that they go to the school the kids were going to and harass them. So despite my general policy of seeking to educate people on transgender issues, as I have done pretty much my entire adult life, I stepped back and let this one go for the safety of myself and my loved one. From what I have seen, this person has since moderated somewhat in their views, no thanks to me, though they still have some kind of, let's say, icky takes. And here I am several years later talking about this because I have spent years of my life, well over a decade at least, trying to play along and fit into that model minority mold. Not because I wanted to, but purely because I was afraid of what might happen if I didn't. And here we are with a political situation that has reached a point where I suspect violence of some kind is pretty much inevitable. Those two things are not necessarily connected, but they are both part of why I'm doing this now. Now I'm in a much more comfortable position financially, and the kids are old enough and strong enough to protect themselves if such a thing were to happen. And if there's anything I can do to help keep people safe, I want to do it. As I'm not terribly good at much other than talking, playing video games, and absorbing obscure bits of trivia about fictional universes, well, I guess I'll talk. If you learn nothing else from my experience, learn this. No matter how hard you try to be perfect, it will never be enough to appease bigots. They will always find an excuse to hate you. In fact, I don't even think they actually hate us specifically. There is a large group of people using people's fear of what they don't understand as a means to achieve political power. I may go into that more in a future video, but it will always be enough just that there are some things people perceive as problems. Even if the problem isn't actually real and has been blown out of proportion by a bad faith actor preying upon people's lack of education, which, come to think of it, is another topic for a future video. Anyway, if we're going to fight against the growing effort to disenfranchise us and drive us out of public life, it's going to take displays of courage in opposing it. Now, I'm not vain enough to claim that I'm being courageous in producing these videos, but at least I'm doing something, and that makes me at least feel a little better, and hopefully it will help others feel a bit better too. And who knows, maybe I will inspire some people to have actual courage. For now, though, just hang in there. Don't back off from anything until someone gives you an official order, and even then, seek out resources on the legality of said orders. And don't let my cat chew on the wires. How did that end up in the script? What? I'm not kidding. That's actually in my script. What? Ugh. And if you appreciate these videos, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. It wasn't that long ago that I swore to myself I'd never say that seriously, but it does help get more eyes on the videos, and please stay safe out there.